This is Sherry Forsyth, peak performance coach from South Africa, and I welcome you to my first live broadcast of 2020. And today what we're going to discuss is New Year's resolutions. Are they good or are they bad? So while you're settling in and making sure you're relaxed, I'd like to welcome my live viewers today, as well as those of you who are listening to the rebroadcast. I hope you'll find this of value. For those of you who are watching it live, the new time that I'm going to be doing it is 12 o'clock on a Thursday, South African time. And I'd love you to join me. I'm also always very, very interested to find out where you're listening from. So just in the comment box below, pop the country that you're listening from. I would appreciate it hugely. So let's dive right in about New Year's resolutions. And I'm going to start with a bit of research that's been done, which doesn't give New Year's resolutions a great rap at all. In fact, a general figure is that 80% of New Year's resolutions don't work at all. Another interesting fact is that 50%, only 50% of adults even make resolutions anymore. And then of those 50%, most of them have given up before the end of January. The only 25% who are still maintaining into February. And then the ones that actually achieve their resolutions, it's only 8%. So that means it's 8% of half the adult population, which in fact really then boils down to only 4% of people stick to making their resolutions. So whether or not you're going to make or have made resolutions this year, I leave entirely up to you, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of information. So in 2019, the list of New Year's resolutions that people made, from the most common to the least common, are number one was to resolve to eat healthier. Number two was exercising more. Number three was losing weight. 4, saving money. 5, learning a new skill. Quitting smoking, and reading more. So those are the common New Year's resolutions that most people make. So why don't New Year's resolutions work? What contributes to the fact that we actually just can't keep them going? So the main reason, according to Dr. Leslie Becker Phelps, who was the author of a book, Bouncing Back from Rejection, the number one reason is that we go into the resolution, we've made the resolution, but there's no specific plan. So immediately you don't have a plan. What happens is you get overwhelmed. So it's almost like we're making a wish, but we don't really do anything about it. We don't action it. So here's some other reasons why the New Year's resolutions don't work. We set too many. So it might be things like, I am going to lose weight. I'm also going to work harder. I'm also going to be a better mother. And I'm also going to spend more time with my friends. So when you have too many, then that becomes overwhelming for you. And as soon as we go into overwhelm, we don't know where to start. And so we just leave it. Also, we set New Year's resolutions that are unrealistic to achieve. If they are unrealistic, often it is because it's too big a goal, and we end up having false hope. It's called false hope syndrome, where our expectations are out of sync with how long it takes, how much effort it takes, what we've actually really got to do. And so as soon as you go into that false hope syndrome, you're going to get demotivated because you thought it would only take a week for example, to lose, a lot of weight, and in the meantime, it's going to take months or possibly even years. The other reason that we fail in our New Year's resolutions is they're very vague. They're non-specific. They kind of, and once again, I get back to, it seems more of a wish than a real desire. This next point is really important. A lot of people make resolutions that they feel they should make. They don't make resolutions that they want to make. So they feel they should make these resolutions because they are living up to other people's expectations, not their own. They feel that they would maybe be a better person if they did that, but they're not really convinced that that's really what they're wanting to do. The next reason that New Year's resolutions fail is because some people see them as the same thing as setting a goal. And some people are very put off by setting a goal. They immediately get overwhelmed. They're not comfortable. So and if you are like that, then New Year's resolutions definitely won't work for you because they're so similar. I think also one of the biggest reasons why New Year's resolutions don't work is because there's not motivation or commitment, particularly if it is one of those should New Year's resolutions. What it means is you're not really invested in that. You're not really excited about doing that particular thing. It's not really coming from within you that this is what you really want. And if that's the case, there cannot be full commitment or full motivation because really you're not interested in doing that thing. And the last reason why New Year's resolutions can be unsuccessful is because in making a New Year's resolution, what you are going to be doing is you're going to be changing something in your life. And as we all know, change is uncomfortable. It's not easy. It makes us feel a bit awkward. And so that is one of the other main reasons that New Year's resolutions fail. So when our resolutions fail, how does it make us feel? I'm going to ask you to just comment in the box below. We're not even at the end of January yet, and maybe you've already failed in your New Year's resolution. How does it make you feel? If we fail at them, we feel overwhelmed. We feel quite useless. We are disappointed in ourselves. We lose possibly self-esteem, self-confidence. And there'll be more, which I'm hoping you will add into the comment box. But essentially what we're saying is it's not great. We're left with a feeling that I'm not good enough. I'm not able to achieve the silly little thing of setting a New Year's resolution. So it leaves us feeling a bit yucky. Okay, so going forward, we can either decide that we are going to make New Year's resolutions, or we're not. And if we're not, then obviously you don't even have to listen further. But if you just do decide that you do want to bring about improvements in your life, the way to do it is by setting goals. And obviously as a life coach, that's a topic that's close to my heart. So what we need to do is we need to make a confident choice about something that we really, really want. And then let's just jump right in. So by setting a goal, we're going to be more specific. We're going to be more accountable. We're going to feel that we're a little bit more in control. So when we set a goal, we're more specific. So we will, instead of making a vague New Year's resolution of something like, I'm going to lose weight, which is vague and we don't know where to start, be specific. So it'll be something like, I would like to lose 2 kilograms every month and I'm going to do that by following the Mediterranean diet, and I'm also going to eat smaller portions. So that is telling you exactly what you're going to do. And if our brain knows exactly what it is that we're going to do, we find it easier to start with it. So here are a few tips to help you with goal setting and to make sure that you can fulfill those improvements that you want. So the first thing is, instead of setting one huge goal, you can set mini goals. In other words, goals for a week or goals for a month. It's not going to be so overwhelming, and it's far more doable. And then at the end of the month, when you have achieved, you're going to feel quite good. And that's going to inspire you to achieve even more. So set little goals or mini goals, have a plan. Be very realistic. Okay, you need to make sure that the little goal that you're setting is something that is achievable for you. And so I'm going to give you an example. If you want to reduce alcohol intake, and now let's assume you're wanting actually to stop drinking completely. It would be very unrealistic to immediately go from drinking to becoming a teetotaler. So what you can do is in that first month, you can say, depending on how much you do drink, I'm only going to have one drink a night instead of the 5 maybe that you normally have. I'm only going to have one drink per night. Then you can move on to I'm only going to drink over weekends, and so Monday to Friday I don't drink at all. So all of those, being realistic, it's something that is within your power to do. So I hope that's making sense to you. Do one thing at a time. So we all know that there are lots of things that we can do to make us feel better about ourselves, but choose the most important one and work only on that. Because otherwise, if you have too many, once again, you go into that state of overwhelm and you won't even start. The next thing you can do to make it easier is to tell someone else about what you're trying to do. You can actually write in the comment box, if you think it's going to help you to be a bit more accountable to yourself, write in the comment box what your goal is, what your mini goal is, what the little thing is that you're wanting to achieve. So feel free to write it down in the comment box, and I'd be very interested to see what kind of things that you're going to be working on. The other thing that can help you is you can find a buddy to do the goal with. So particularly if you are in a relationship, and let's say, for example, both of you smoke, it makes it very much easier if both of you decide not to smoke, rather than you deciding that you're not going to smoke and there your spouse is sitting puffing away quite happily. The sixth tip is don't limit yourself only to setting new goals or trying to improve your life at New Year. That's bound to make us overwhelmed. So you can use any time of the year, the beginning of spring, the end of summer, the beginning of a month, the beginning of a week. Don't limit yourself only to the New Year's resolution and then immediately we feel that we failed. The other important thing about setting mini goals is expect that you might have some lapses. We all are human, and very often what happens is we'll be going along fine and then suddenly we slip off, we fall off the wagon. And usually what happens then is we think we failed. And so there we are. I knew I couldn't do it anyway, and so I'm not even going to try. If you go into setting this goal knowing that there are going to be lapses, because after all, we are all human and we all make mistakes, but I acknowledge that I had a lapse, but you immediately after the lapse get back onto your strict routine. And then you won't feel a failure, but you will actually feel you're still with the program and it's something that you're wanting to achieve. The other thing that makes achieving your goal a little bit easier is if you make getting to your goal, set the steps that you use, if you make that into a habit. In other words, we're talking about being consistent. So if consistently I am eating the Mediterranean diet and I'm using smaller portions, I will eventually lose weight. It won't be immediate, but the consistency of working at it one small little bite at a time is a thing that eventually helps you to achieve your goal. On average, it takes 66 days approximately for a new habit to become automatic. Okay, for it to become automatic. So that's just a little over 2 months. And if you can do that every day for just over 2 months, you'll find that eventually you're not even thinking about it. So I hope that this little chat has helped you in some way. It's maybe motivated you to set that little action step, that little goal, and get started. I don't want you to give up on your dreams. I don't want you to think little. So keep following them. But in achieving your vision or your mission, break them down into bite-sized pieces, make them very doable, so that you feel successful rather than a failure. And so I take this opportunity of wishing you the very best in whatever goal you've decided to set for yourself for this week or for this month or for this year. And I look forward to getting some kind of feedback on how it's gone. So please always feel free to drop me an email on sherryforsyth@gmail.com, or you can just leave a message in the comment box. Thank you so much.